Come on, drink some more wine. On our honeymoon, my husband and I decided to stay at a secluded rental cabin in the woods. Wanting to celebrate, we opened a bottle of fancy wine, just the two of us. However, after only 2 glasses of wine, I felt unusually dizzy and tipsy. Already drunk. You're something else, aren't you? Drinking the water my husband handed me, I was suddenly overcome with sleepiness. I've been so busy lately, maybe I'm just worn out. Yet, when I glanced at my husband, he seemed to be smirking rather than showing concern. That's when I remembered a note handed to me by a stranger. It read, "Get out now. I, now going by the name Catherine, got married 6 months ago. I am 27. I met my husband, Bob, at a cooking class about 3 years ago. He's 12 years older, but we get along great and even share the same tastes in food. Moreover, both of us lost our parents at a young age. It seemed only natural for our relationship to progress to marriage. Though we had our wedding, our jobs kept us busy, so we finally managed to take a week off. So, we looked for a quiet place and chose a nature-surrounded spot for our honeymoon. The rental cabin was a little over 3 hours' drive from our home. Feeling hungry along the way, we stopped at a diner. From there, it was about 2 more hours to the cabin. I had a nagging feeling that someone was watching me since we entered the diner. After our meal, while heading to the restroom, an attendant slipped a small note into my hand. The note handed to me by a stranger read, "Leave without being noticed, now." By the time I thought of asking what it meant, the attendant had already disappeared into the back of the diner. I didn't get a good look at her face, so I don't know who gave it to me. I first thought it might be a nasty prank, but upon entering a stall and rereading the note, I saw what appeared to be a phone number. What in the world is going on? This was supposed to be a joyful honeymoon, but I started getting an uneasy feeling. Who was that woman earlier? As I contemplated looking for the woman to ask about the note, I heard a voice from outside the restroom. "Hey, Catherine, you okay in there? Feeling sick?" "No, I'm fine. I'll be out in a sec, just wait at the table." My husband, Bob, sounded concerned since I'd been inside for a while, but I lied in the moment. I hesitated, wondering whether to show him the note, but I tucked it deep into my pocket. During our long-awaited honeymoon, I was immersed in joy and excitement, but suddenly a cloud of unease settled in my heart. I had a feeling I shouldn't let Bob sense my inner turmoil, so I acted even more cheerful than usual as we left the restaurant. Later, we stopped by a supermarket to grab some food and drinks, and about 2 hours after that, we reached our secluded rental cabin. After unloading our stuff and taking a leisurely walk, I had almost forgotten about the mysterious note. As evening approached, we each decided to cook our favorite dishes. I made hamburgers, his favorite. Bob whipped up some potato salad. As we savored our homemade dishes and sipped wine across the table, we toasted and chatted, basking in each other's happiness. Yet, after a couple of glasses of wine, I began to feel a bit fuzzy. "Come on, Catherine, I bought this fancy wine for you. Drink up." I might be getting a bit tipsy. "What are you talking about? You've hardly drunk any." Bob kept encouraging me to drink more. I considered stopping, but seeing Bob's cheerful face, I didn't want to spoil the mood and took a few more sips. However, after a while, I began to feel really dizzy, as if I was heavily intoxicated. I pulled my hand away from the wine glass, sensing that any more would make me ill. Bob then closely examined my face, as if checking my complexion. "You usually handle a bottle of wine just fine. Maybe you're just tired from the trip. Maybe that's it. You really can't handle it, can you? Here, drink this. It'll sober you up." Saying so, he handed me some water and the hangover supplement he usually takes. However, even after taking it, the drowsiness didn't wear off. Instead, it intensified. Eventually, I could barely sit in my chair and started leaning on the table. "You're easier than I thought." Barely opening my eyes, I saw Bob, not with concern, but with an eerie smirk. I might just fall into an eternal sleep. Thank you for getting that life insurance. With that, I collapsed and couldn't get up. Without tending to me, my husband poured all the wine he was drinking down the sink, cleaned up his dishes and glasses, and left our rental cabin. What on earth just happened? The sound of a car engine faded into the distance. Could it be the note the waitress gave me earlier? The words "escape" now written on it. Could it have been a warning about this very situation? The last words my husband said to me kept echoing in my mind. Thank you for getting that life insurance. The implications of those words made me shudder with horrifying possibilities. Come to think of it, it was his idea to get that insurance. Within a week of our wedding, my husband, Bob, had strongly suggested we both get life insurance. When I hesitated, sensing something was off, he said with a sad face, "Think of life insurance as a safety net for both of us. Since we both lost our parents, I thought it'd make things easier if something ever happened." Back then, I agreed, but now? Could he have been planning this from the very beginning? I mustered some strength and crawled to the kitchen, guzzling down an unopened bottle of water. With a slightly clearer head, I took out the note and dialed my cell phone. After a few rings, a woman answered. I told her about the note, how I felt intoxicated from the wine, and couldn't speak properly. That's why I gave you the escape now note. He might be dangerous. What do you mean? Please, tell me everything you know. From what she hesitantly shared, it turns out she was Bob's ex-girlfriend, Jessica. She mentioned they dated about 5 years ago, around the time his parents passed away due to illness. But his suspicious actions made her fearful, and she decided to break up. However, things didn't go as planned, and when he became too persistent, she disappeared. Hearing this left me in utter shock. I'd heard his parents had passed away over 10 years ago in a car accident. What the heck is going on here? That's why she was so surprised when we entered the diner. She hid in the back of the diner, hoping he wouldn't see her. The feeling I had during our meal that someone was watching us wasn't just my imagination. She probably thought Bob was up to no good and wanted to help. That's why she handed me a note when I went to the restroom. Thank you for giving me that note. I can't thank you enough. You must have been so brave. I could hear her sobbing on the phone. This is absolutely unforgivable. While I felt gratitude towards her, the realization that Bob, whom I trusted, had betrayed me filled me with rage. I need to deal with that man. Without hesitation, I asked the waitress for help and she replied, "Of course." At that moment, I had a plan in mind. However, executing it might put me in even more danger. But I couldn't let things go on like this. I was determined to make him realize. About 2 hours later, I heard the sound of a car engine, probably Bob returning. After the call, I felt sick again and was lying on the floor. I could see Bob entering the room. He approached me slowly with his shoes still on, knelt down, and checked my breathing by placing his ear near my mouth. Damn, she's still alive. Stubborn one. Should have made her drink more. What do you mean by that? Barely whispering, he smirked and replied, "Let me tell you as a parting gift. I hate working, you see. So, to get money quickly, I made my parents drink a lot. And just now, I gave you the same supplement I made. Excuse me. I married you because you had no other family. With this, all the life insurance money will be mine. I've been paying about $500 a month for the premium, so I might get around $500,000. Exciting, isn't it?" His cold words sent shivers down my spine. "You won't get away with this. Don't play tough now, especially when you can't even move. I'll be taking all your savings too. All right, this will do you in for sure." He started dissolving those same pills in water. I could hear the clink of a glass and the stir. Then he grabbed my hair, lifted my face, and forced the liquid down my throat. Stop it. Come on, take a big gulp. This time, I won't hold back. This will send you to the other side real quick. The liquid was forcibly poured into my mouth. I desperately resisted, trying not to swallow, and managed to cough it out. That's enough. Get your hands off her. Standing there was the waitress, his ex-girlfriend, who had given me the note. Why is Jessica here? After our previous call, I had told Jessica the location of our vacation home and arranged for her to come. He was startled by her unexpected appearance. Too bad things aren't going your way, huh? Rising from the floor, he looked at me, clearly confused. The wine might have been spiked or the alcohol hit me fast. But when he handed me those pills while I was seemingly passed out, something felt off, so I hadn't swallowed them. You probably thought I'd come back to make sure I was truly gone, didn't you? Damn it. You tricked me. I'll never forgive you. Why not get rid of both of you at once? In his desperation, he grabbed the poker next to the wood-burning stove and advanced on us. Stop it. Screaming in such a secluded place is useless. Now, which one of you should I finish off first? He swung the poker around, shattering the mirrors and vases in the room. And as he was about to swing at me, who couldn't escape, the door burst open. The police stormed in. Jessica, who was in the next room, had called them. It was a close call. That was too close. My husband, looking startled, was frozen mid-swing. I seized the opportunity, turned off the recording on my cell phone placed on the shelf, and handed it to the police. It has everything recorded inside. This is solid evidence, isn't it? Yes, indeed. I'll also hand over the pretend supplements I acted like I took as evidence. What's going on? Truth is, after Bob left me, I did call the police, but they brushed me off, thinking I was just a drunk joking around. So with Jessica's help, I staged a performance to elicit a confession from him. Honestly, I was so scared of Bob that I thought about running away, but I knew he'd come after me. Plus, I figured the police would surely come if they had evidence and caught him in the act. Look. This was just a minor marital spat. No need to bother the busy police over it. Dropping the rod, Bob scratched his head, trying to downplay the situation. Seeing him think he could still talk his way out, despite the evidence, was infuriating. Just give it up. We have your confession and the video proof of you trying to harm us. Catherine, you're overreacting. Calling the police was too much. Just apologize and don't be so mad. You don't really believe I'd hurt you, do you? You expect me to believe you now. And not just this, we'll look into the mysterious passing of your parents too. But there's no evidence for something that happened so long ago. He seemed to think that he wouldn't face serious charges for this incident alone. Then, Jessica, who had been silent, spoke up. I don't know if it's useful, but I've kept everything from back then. Conversations, potential evidence, all of it. Are you serious? No way, I can't handle this. I'm not going to ruin my life over this. Bob tried to escape, but was quickly apprehended by the police, handcuffed, and taken away in a patrol car. I knew he'd be locked up for a while now. Watching the patrol car shrink in the distance, I sighed with relief. Jessica, are you hurt? I'm okay. But it was scary. Had the police been just a few minutes later, who knows what would have happened to us. I knew I was risking my safety, but it was all to expose this man's deeds. Thanks for bravely passing me that note. If it wasn't for you, Jessica, I can't imagine what might have happened to me. I owe you my life. No, you believed in me, and your determination in the face of danger brought the resolution. I'm just relieved you're safe. This will bring peace to my husband's parents as well. That being said, it was a terrifying ordeal. For some time after, we couldn't stop shaking. Soon, it will be revealed not only that my husband tried to kill me, but also that he's responsible for his parents' deaths. Of course, I've divorced him and canceled the hefty life insurance policy on myself. Now, I just wait for him to face justice. It was terrifying, but I'm relieved we stopped such a wicked man. I hope to find someone I can spend the rest of my life with. Everyone, be wary of men pushing life insurance policies on you.